Welcome! Today we're going to explore one of biology's most elegant and honestly incredible designs, the system that creates new life. We'll be taking a journey through the female reproductive system, which is, when you think about it, the literal blueprint for our existence.
So the big question is, how does the body actually do this? How does it prepare for new life? Not just once, but every single month. Well, the answer lies in this amazingly precise monthly rhythm. It's a really complex, coordinated dance of hormones and organs, all working towards one single goal: getting ready for a potential pregnancy. So let's break down how this incredible process actually works.
At its very core, the system really has three main jobs. The most fundamental, of course, is to produce offspring. But to do that, it first has to produce the female gametes, the eggs. And finally, it needs to provide a safe, nourishing environment where a new life can actually grow. It's a pretty big mission statement.
To really wrap our heads around how it all works, we first need a map. So let's take a quick anatomical tour of the key players involved.
Okay, here's the big picture. You can see everything is tucked neatly into the pelvic cavity. Right there in the middle is the uterus, and it's flanked by the ovaries and connected by the fallopian tubes. You can also see how close they are to the bladder and the rectum. It's a really compact design that just highlights how intricately all of our internal systems are organized.
Now let's zoom in on the internal powerhouses. The ovaries are the primary reproductive organs. They're responsible for producing both the eggs and some key hormones. Then you have the pear-shaped uterus, which is where an embryo would implant and grow. And connecting them are the fallopian tubes, which are the crucial pathway for the egg to travel from the ovary to the uterus.
And of course, there are the external structures. Together, they're known as the vulva, and they serve two really important functions. First, they protect all those delicate internal organs from infection, and second, they enable sperm to enter the body. It's basically the system's gateway and its guardian all rolled into one.
So we've seen the anatomy, the different parts, but the real magic isn't just in the structures, it's in the dynamic, cyclical nature of it all. So now let's explore the body's monthly rhythm, the menstrual cycle in action. So this cycle, which is about 28 days on average, can be broken down into three main phases that are happening in the uterus. It all starts with the menstrual phase. This is when the uterine lining is shed if pregnancy hasn't occurred. Then comes the proliferative phase, where the hormone estrogen kicks in and stimulates that lining to rebuild itself. And finally, you have the secretory phase, where another hormone, progesterone, makes the lining thick and rich with nutrients, getting it ready to receive a fertilized egg.
Now here's the crucial part. All of this is happening in perfect sync with what's going on in the ovary. While the uterus is doing its thing, the ovary is maturing follicles. One of those will release an egg, and that's ovulation. The follicle that ruptured then transforms into something called the corpus luteum, which is basically a temporary gland that produces the progesterone needed for that final uterine phase. It's all connected.
So who's the conductor of this entire biological orchestra? Well, it's the brain. Specifically, the pituitary gland, which releases two key hormones. First, there's follicle-stimulating hormone, or FSH, which, as the name suggests, tells the follicles to grow. Then, a sudden surge of luteinizing hormone, or LH, is what triggers ovulation and signals the production of progesterone. It's this precise hormonal cascade that keeps everything on schedule.
This intricate biological process is absolutely fundamental to human life. But when things go wrong, say when cancer disrupts these systems, it stops being just about an individual's biology. It becomes a major public health challenge. And to see what I mean, let's take a look at the situation in Kenya. In Kenya, cancer is the third leading cause of death. And get this, that translates to an estimated 22,000 lives lost every single year. A huge portion of these are reproductive cancers, which turns a personal biological issue into a massive national public health crisis, one that demands a coordinated response.
And Kenya has responded by developing this really comprehensive policy framework. You can see it's a multi-pronged approach. They're addressing the issue from all kinds of angles, providing access to family planning, focusing on adolescent health, creating a national cancer strategy, and even ensuring support for survivors of sexual violence.
Now, this data is from 2002, but it gives us a really clear snapshot of the challenge. It shows exactly why a national cancer control strategy is so vital. Back then, breast and cervical cancer accounted for over 43% of registered cancers in women. That's a clear and urgent target for public health intervention.
And these local efforts, they tie directly into a global vision. Access to reproductive health care is a cornerstone of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, specifically Goal 3, which is all about good health and well-being. It just goes to show you that personal health and global development are completely, inextricably linked.
So, why does all this matter? Why go through the biology and the policy? Well, because understanding the blueprint of our own bodies is what empowers us to build better, healthier societies for everyone. This quote from Kenya's adolescent health policy just sums it up perfectly. Investing in health and education, especially for young people, isn't some short-term fix. It's a lifelong investment that builds healthier futures right from the ground up. So from the incredible dance of hormones to the broad strokes of global policy, this whole thing is a story of potential. And it leaves us with a really crucial question. We have the blueprint. We know how it works. So how do we build a healthier future with it? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.